Alright, welcome everyone. Was adjusting the audio a little bit there. If you can let me know how it sounds. Rude girl, ¿cómo se escucha? Escríbeme por favor. We're gonna cast Canada against USA, Week 5 Nation Wars Season 2. These are two of the strongest teams in Division A. We have some news. Another team has dropped out this week. In the way of Peru. Peru will no longer be participating, unfortunately. So we're one team short. We're down to 9 teams in Division A. And that's it. Yesterday's cast, we had Chile go 2-4 against Poland. And Bolivia got 1 point versus Europe's 5. And this will be the last cast of the week for Division A. And then at the end, I'll show the results updated up to week 5. And we're ready to go. Let's go. Let's go into game 1 again between Striker and Whip. Now Whip is a new member of Team Canada. Striker, very well known in the North American scene. Participated in Rogue Gallery, BSL as well. Boa Cross. Boa, another newcomer. Never really participated in foreign tournaments until Nazel 3. But already one of the strongest players in North America. And then Crossy, of course, won that tournament. Yesterday was eliminated from BSL in the round of 32. Lost against, I think it was DeWalt and Zeke. Or Zeke 3 times. Tom Brown, Dragon. Striker, Raz in the 2v2 against Aegyo and Dragon. I think there was a substitution there. Raz against KMD. KMD also new, and if people don't know, he is also Bull White's brother. And then Jaeyoon against AU. Now a lot of people are saying Korea and America have, or I should say Canada and USA have a lot of Koreans on their teams, but that's totally allowed so long as they live in their respective countries. And I think we're ready to go. Let's jump into game number 1. Alright, in the top left spawn is a white Zerg. We have Striker 17 from Team USA. And in the top right spawn, as the purple Terran, we have Whip, member of DM Clan. Map is Optimizer, and every time I cast this map, I always want to see the second gas utilized, and literally have seen it once in 5 weeks of play. You have 2 gases on the map. The top gas has 4,000, the bottom gas has 1,000 only. And now in ZVZ, I've seen it used where the Zerg will go 9 pull with the second hatch in the main, but still get the benefit of a second gas. But that's about it, really. Terran making a depot in the main, Zerg. Overlord with 4 pull. Looks to be playing standard. This music is... DM Whip. Why did you just call him Whip? Whip looks to be a strong player. I've seen it on ladder about 2200, and Striker is roughly around that level, so we should get an even matchup here. We have Whip making the barracks on 10 supply, and Striker's gonna go for that 12 hatch. You see him go up to 12 drones. Here's the drone going to the expansion. Whip sending out that SCV scout. Still no gas. Mech play is extremely common on this map just because of the extra gas. And there's the SCV going to gas, makes a gas on 13. A little bit unorthodox. It's going to delay his factory, but he is maximizing his mineral income. And Striker made that extra drone. And then a pull. Still going to go for 2 hatch. But making this extra drone does delay your 2 hatch a little bit. And it does make you a little bit more vulnerable to ARAXs. But as we see, Whip is not going for that. And let's see how Striker sent out his Overlord. Looks like he went with a cross scout. Well, not cross scout, horizontal scout, which is normal on this map. And there's a drone confirming that he's not there. Now this drone's gonna get here and see the SCV and now retreat. After confirming the barracks position, you see this overlord can just plant itself here. Just wants to see the command center timing. Doesn't really need to go further in to check the gas. And we see Whip only has 1 on gas, so he's gonna expand quickly after this striker going for 2 hatch lair. It's about to have 100 gas. Makes 4 lings right off the bat, and there's the lair. SCV scout getting the timing on that lair now, second SCV. So I didn't even notice this 2 SCV scouts playing extremely safe. Doesn't want to die to a 9 pull. SCV doesn't want to die, just staying lingering around as long as possible. Of course, it doesn't regen like the probe, so it is impossible to keep this alive forever, especially when Zerg makes 4 lings. Much harder against 4 than 2. Factory almost done, and it's key to keep this SCV alive so these lings don't come across the map. Terran doesn't want to make more marines than this. There's a command center, Vulture on the way immediately. Striker's actually getting link speed to follow this up. He knows, based on the command center timing, that this is not barracks expand. This is kind of some kind of factory play. It could be 2-port follow-up, or I mean 1-port follow-up with 1-1-1, or it could just be mech. And there's a Vulture coming out and he sees it, and he already has a sunken in place. Oh, we have a Hydra Den, and now it's being hidden away from the SCV scout. And now because this is lair already done, this is going to be lurker, and this is going to catch Whip completely off guard. This is not common at all. We need to see his vision to see if he can sneak this Vulture far enough to get scouting information on that. Bunker on the way. We have 1 link coming across the map with speed. These 3 lings, I don't know why they went to the bottom right. Let's see how many kills they have. Okay, there's a kill on that. There's a Vulture. Links. 3 links aren't enough, especially with good control. Bunker's already done, and more links from Striker. This is a ton of links. And we see the lurker research is about halfway done. First Hydra's in production. He's going to rally these across the map. Look at the economy of Striker. He only has 11 drones on minerals. Vulture's very low on health, about 5 hits away, and it gets surrounded and popped. Now we have a run by from Striker. SCV pull almost gets there in time to block, and here comes the second Vulture. This is 6 lings with speed, 7 lings. They're in the mineral line. They're slowing things down for Whip, and here comes the rally of the Hydras and lings across the map. How many Hydras is this actually? Looks like only 2, but 2 will be enough considering Whip doesn't have protection. Goliath's on the way, thinking this is Muta. If this was Muta, he'd also be in trouble. Very limited MTR from Whip. More links coming in. This bunker is huge because it will fend off the incoming links. But once these 2 lurkers finish, they'll just burrow in range of the bunker. Still no detection, no eBay, no academy you don't normally get with mech. But because he's had such little scouting information, he's not prepared at all for this. He's even getting Goliath range, and here comes the lurker. He sees the lurkers, targeting one of the lurkers. 6 HP almost goes down. We're pulling all the SCVs. This bunker's gonna fall eventually, and here comes the ling rally, just rallying units across the map. We have a 3rd lurker, more units in production. Command center lifts. Preparing the Goliaths. He knows one of these lurkers is really low health. He has good targeting. He might be able to kill that. But Striker smartly unburying the lurker with more HP. Now the lings are getting close. Ling's not that great against Goliath, but when they're in this few numbers, they can do alright. And now we have a lurker in the middle line and still no detection from Whip. And this is looking bleak. The low HP lurkers unburrow, and they're getting in range of the remaining SCVs, and Whip with the GG. Very quick game. Again, we don't see the gas taken in the main. Every game ends like this on this map. But good attack from Striker, very well planned out. And that'll be 1 point for Team Canada. Or Team USA, I should say. Striker continuing his dominant run in Nation Wars. He's beaten several top players already. True Touch, Dandy among them, and now Whip. We're gonna go into game 2 between Boa and Crossy. Rematch from Nazzle 3 actually, where Crossy won 3-2, but it was very, very close. It could have gone either way. Right in the top right spawn, as the orange Protoss, we have Boa representing Team USA. And in the bottom left, as the red Zerg, we have 727 or 7227 Crossy representing Team Canada as the red Zerg. This is going to be a very exciting matchup. Now, when we saw Boa play Crossy in BSL, this was a couple months ago, and Boa had recently returned, wanted to participate, didn't even know about the foreign scene really, so wasn't playing in any events. He decided to participate in that and placed in the top 8. And as a result, he just kept on playing, seems motivated, participating in BSL as you can see, and I think he's improved a ton since then, but we'll see. Rematch against Crossy, not Crossy going for the 9 pull. And Boa looks like he's gonna go for Gateway. No. Forge Scout a little bit later. We have a gas, but I think, yep, there's a cancel just to get that extra drone. You can see Crossy's at 10 drones now. And this is important because now he can leave 9 on minerals and send 1 more out to scout. And along with this Overlord Scout, he can confirm 2 positions, and then he'll know where Boa is while maintaining a decent enough economy with 1 drone per patch. There goes the drone scout. And Boa only with 1 scouting probe. No, looks like he's gonna play safe, sending out a 2nd scouting probe. This does delay a little bit his timing, so he's gotta be careful. He can't go for Nexus first. He's gonna go for Nexus first against Nightpool. This is almost, well, normally I would say this is disastrous, but because it's cross map, you can see his links are already in production. Because it's cross map, it does give him a few more seconds, and really with openings this tight, a few seconds make a huge difference. There's the expansion from Crossy, and now this is not an overpull timing. Overpull's at around 205. This is 9 pull after 6 links, so he already knew that, and we have 1 cannon on the way. We're gonna need a 2nd one soon, but Boa doesn't have any more minerals. You can see he's not making any probes because he wants to get the 2nd cannon up. And here are the lings already on the way. It's going to be very close. First cannon's almost done, about 60% done, and the lings are... It's only 5 links because he left 1 back to chase this probe. Six probes pull, plus the 1 that made the cannon, and looks like 1 cannon is going to be done. He does have to block the ramp. Can't let it run by here, and... How many probes do we actually get? Looks like we only get 1 probe for 5 wings. Good block there by Boa. And he cancels the 2nd cannon, so this is actually huge. Looks like there's the gas, and there's the 3rd hatch from Crossy. We have the Nexus finishing, and look at the timing of the Nexus, basically the same as the hatchery. We're actually sending probes to the natural as well. I would say Crossy's in a not ideal situation. This was Nexus before cannon and only got 1 probe, but you have to consider Boa had to cut probes to get both of these cannons up. He did cancel 1, but he still wasn't making probes during that time. He also has 6 probes off the mineral line. So while not great for Crossy, it's not a terrible position. And look, he's actually getting only link speed, and he's pulling off gas. So he's mixing things up. Boa, of course, has no scouting information. Let's look at these drones. One of them might have a kill. So, you know, maybe the one that made the hatchery. Because both probes no longer on the map. Sending out a 2nd probe, he wants to get that scouting information. There's a core from Boa. And the reason you see it made at the net, because he went Nexus first and then 2 cannons. He had to cut probes to get all of that up, and that meant he didn't need the pylon. The Nexus gave him the supply, and that's why he has this core at the natural. You know, Stargate on the way, and looks like Crossy's just gonna go mass hatchery. He's not mining gas, he wants to get hatcheries up, and he's gonna deal with the Corsair with Hydras. That'll be his method of anti-air. 4th hatch going down at the 3rd, and it's important for Ball to see this because he's not gonna get in the main. You need some kind of intel. Here comes the Zealot. Don't know if he thinks the 3rd is here, or he's just trying to hide that Zealot. We do have good positions here behind the middle lane. Let's see if the Zealot gets right there, how difficult it will be for Zerglings to engage. So there's a 4th hatch from Crossy. Now he's mining gas. And there's a 5th hatch and then a hydrogen. And here comes the first Zealot. 1 drone already down. And there we go. He's going to position himself right there. He's got to go a little bit further back. Now it's hard for Lings to engage effectively. Only 2 can hit at a time. And getting 3 Lings and a drone for 1 Zealot is valuable information. And valuable information, I should say. Makes that Zealot worth it. 2nd cannon may be behind. We don't have a wall here, so he's got to be a little bit careful. Citadel and more gates being added from Boa. You can see he's cutting probes to get these gates up really quickly. Started speed, still not making any probes. It's going to be a fast speed lot follow up after just 1 Corsair. There's the 4th gateway, so it's going to be 4 gate speed lot after 1 Corsair. This is going to be a very threatening attack. First Hydra already started, and now you make only a couple Hydras really to deal with the Corsair. You still want to keep droning up. And there's a lair from Crossy, and then you get Hydra speed to deal with the incoming Zealots, but only a few Hydras will fend off the Corsairs, and then he's fine to drone up for a little bit longer. Second gas. Now this is a little bit curious. When you go 4 gate speed lot, of course you're delaying your archives and you don't need the 2nd gas as quickly. If he starts mining from this, you're gonna see he's gonna shoot up in gas. Everything he's making now, probes, pylons, and Zealots don't cost any gas. 6 hatch from Crossy, and look at his drone saturation. He has 9 in the main, 9 at the natural, and it's like only 6 at the 3rd, so he's still a little bit short. But he's still making drones. He wants to get ready for his speed lot timing with +1. Synced up nicely by Boy. You can see Zealot speed just finished and +1 is about to. He's got to move on now. Zealots are very threatening. And there's the archives. Now, why isn't he moving out? Okay, looks like he's getting ready. He's going to move out with 11 Zealots. Lings see this. Good reaction by Crossy, pulling this back immediately. And now you can see he's going to start producing only Hydras. He's droned up sufficiently. Again, because it's cross map, he's going to have a few extra seconds here, but I don't think he has enough Hydras. This is only 11 Hydras versus 11 Zealots. The 4 Lings will help, but he needs a couple more Hydras to defend from this attack. If he can get good SimCity here, he'll also be fine, but he doesn't know where Bull's going to attack. Looks like Bull's going to engage the units. Now, this is pretty favorable for the Protoss. We even have the Corsair here. Being annoying. With only 1 Corsair, the Hydra's targeting him down as well. It's not going to do much damage. The Zealots are eating up the Hydras. You can see only 3 have gone down. He's forced to drone, drill, more Zealots on the way, but only 1 coming in support. These are not the best reinforcement from Boa. 4 Zealots remain. Looks like none of the drones have gone down, which is good for Crossy. Corsair does have 1 kill. Looks like he's going to get another Overlord here, maybe. Crossy smartly targets that, so he only has to deal with the Zealot right on the ground. And saw that pull from the drone by Crossy. This was a very good defense. And let's look at the upgrades now. +1 almost done. Storm is almost done. +1 armor, I'm about halfway done. And there's a Robo started immediately. How many gateways is he up to? 7 gateways. And here comes a counter pressure from Crossy, and behind this Crossy is going to drone up again. Knowing he just dealt with the first major attack, he's free to drone up, and here comes a drone to take that 4th base. Curious 4th base. It's not the normal one you'd take, I think. Actually, it is. It is. And here's the counter pressure by Crossy, forcing out a Storm, only losing 1 Hydra. Wants the pressure just to snipe this gateway and forward potentially, but it's not a guarantee, especially once Protoss has Storm. This is not to bust, and there are enough Zealots to deal with this low number of Hydras. So we got one Zealot and we keep running away. And there's another drone around, and you can see Boa's actually a little bit in trouble here. His economy, because of his fast gateways, is not in the greatest position, only 38 drones. Goon range after Robo, very standard. Observatory, and he's gonna prepare for the lurkers. You see, he started +2, Crossy did, and we have +1 armor almost done for Boa. Enough Zealots to fend off the Hydras, and he didn't have to add any more cannons, so maybe he's okay. I'm a little concerned about the probe count, but otherwise, it's looking alright. Pushing out with the Zealots. Crossy is going to get 4 bases, and then it's going to be up to Boa to do either a big attack off 2 bases or expand and then pressure as well. Can't let Zerg drone freely forever. 4th base is almost up, and we're going to have lurkers to defend. And the good thing about Polyport is you only really need to defend 2 locations. One would be this high ground pod, and then this base here. But every base Protoss would attack into has a ramp. Either a ramp or a choke, so it's very difficult to attack on this map, and it looks like Boa just gonna take that 3rd base. His probe count, he's gonna need to make more probes to saturate all his bases. And there's +2 weapons on the way. Do we have a 2nd forge? So 2-2 starting for Boa. This is actually gonna be massive. Crossy's gonna have 2-0, but he's gonna be facing a 2-2 Protoss. He has 61 drones, which is massive economy for Zerg on 4 bases, and he's getting an 8th hatchery, 3rd gas, and with enough lurkers to defend, I think he's in a really solid position. Well, playing a little bit passively here, just trying to take his expansions, going up in economy. Now, because he started this 3rd nexus and he's going to need a few more probes, you can see he's starting to add a couple more. Basically on 2 bases, if you're between 41 to 45, you're perfectly saturated. But eventually you do need to take that 3rd, so you have to add enough to saturate this. About 10 more probes. And here comes a big attack from Boa. Let's look at how many High Templar he has. Looks like he's only moving out with Zealot Dragoon. These were left behind. Do we have any hotkeys? Looks like we do. We have Boa's hotkeys. It's a very curious hotkey setup. You have 1 Nexus, 2 Army, 3 Gateway, and then more army. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about. If Boa is to attack, you see he has to go attack a ramp position. And Lurker sunk in. With Hydra support, it's very hard to attack into. What do we have in Cross's main? We have 2nd Evolution Chamber and the Hive on the way. And here comes Boa's big attack. Leading with the Dragoons, keeping the Zealots behind. This is very important. You don't want to lose the Zealots to Lurkers. And you want to storm the incoming Hydras. So far, good control by Boa. One of the observer goes down, but look at the storms. They're on top of the Hydras. Only 2 lurkers left, and he moves in with the Zealots after the lurker field has been built down. Another storm from Boa. Another storm that still has 1 high tempo with 2 storms. He's got to be careful here. He knows this isn't Crossy's entire army. It's looking good so far, but we don't have the reinforcements. Units at the rally not coming. And we're about to be out of storm. We have an Archon morphing. This Templar has 70 energy, but it's not going to come in time. And Crossy defends. Looks like we had a scouting Zealot looking for a 5th base, and here comes the reinforcements, but it's not going to be in time. Losing the remaining Dragoons. And here is Boa trying to take a 4th base, but he did just lose the first big fight, and any semblance of map control he would have had is gone. He did set up a 3rd base, and you see he did make more probes. It's fully saturated now. And unfortunately for him, I think you can see 2-2 just finished for him, and if he attacked now with 2-2, it would still be before the key upgrade for Zerg, which is Crackling. He would have been fighting 2-0-0 Zerg. Still, maybe he just sensed that was the time to attack before Crossy could add in more hatcheries. And it's also the time when Zerg is most vulnerable, when they invest in this Queen Nest, this extra evolution chamber, and the hive. That's a lot of money that's not going into units. Looks like the Overlord that was here sees the 5th base or the 4th base from below, but Crossy, instead of attacking, he's going to set up another base of his. Curiousy's not wanting him to take this closer 6 o'clock spawn. This will transition now into a more macro game, and it's going to come down to the upgrades. We see 204 Crossy, and we have 2-2 already for Protoss. One of those forges getting +2, but no +3 on the way for his weapons. A little bit of zoning from Boa. Would be difficult to attack. You see the lurker field is in position to defend his 4th base. And if he were to go up the small ramp, Crossy would be able to react. Now here we go. Coming in, we only have 3 lurkers here, the rest of the army's behind. First decent storm. Huge storm from Boa. And this is right at Crossy's rally, so his units are naturally pumped up. Crossy's playing this patiently, not moving in. But I'm looking at where are those units? Why are they going out to attack? Looks like the 4th base from Boa is a little bit exposed. Only 1 cannon here, 1 high Templar as well. The thing that Crossy has working for him is his massive economy. Look out, he has 4 hatcheries clustered here, another 2 at the 4th, 2 at the nap. Looks like Boa is going to be able to defend, and now he's pressuring Crossy's 4th. Crossy does have units coming in from several different angles. We have high Templars on top of the ramp. It's going to be hard to attack into. 2 Sunkens here providing support, and looks like the drones have gone down. No, looks like they were transferred out knowing that there were incoming high Templars. 1 storm left pretty soon. The drones are coming in. Does Boa pay attention? Oh, looks like it goes down. And Boa's still pressuring on the low ground, but in small numbers like this, Protoss armies aren't very threatening. And again, we have Boa throwing away his army. Well, it looks like Crossy did lose several drones. So he's down to 50. He was up to 61. Alright, come on. Where is this +3 weapons? The one thing Boa has in his favor is the upgrades. Really have to prioritize maintaining that upgrade lead. If Zerg is ever on the same upgrades as you, it doesn't matter what matchup it is. It always favors them. Adding Robos now. Do we have Reaver Tech? Nope. And here's the drone transfer to top left. We need a Nidus here. The most reliable way to defend in late game is Nidus. Come on. There's the Nidus. I called it. And we have transition into Crackling. So this is a very mobile Zerg army. Can attack. But Boa's well positioned to advance. Look at these 3 armors all against 1 weapon links. They just never die. Yeah, Shuttle don't want to reveal that. And looks like Crossy is forced to retreat there. I like this from Boa, denying the most likely next base. And he's 1 base down from Zerg with Hive. He's going to need another base pretty soon. But he can stay in this game with his upgrade advantage. Every engagement is going to go slightly favorable for him. Crossy doesn't quite yet have Plague. Is researching Consume right now. Here comes another attack from Boa. This time his army advantage is looking a little bit bigger than I'd expect, considering Crossy's been saturated on 5 bases this long. We have Reavers being mixed in. Where is the Reaver Tech? I seem to have missed that. There it is in the top of the main. He's getting shuttle speed. One way to play late game PvZ is you just keep expanding and harassing Zerg. You don't necessarily have to constantly attack. A fortified Zerg is probably the hardest thing to break into. Lurker, Sunken, Swarm, Spores, and flanking armies makes it very scary to attack late game. We have Crossy countering Boa's 5th base attempt, but not with enough units. Boa smartly leaving behind Zealots. Now he's splitting off his army and making his big ball considerably weaker, but again, he's not really attacking. Here we have a DT being mixed in. DTs are pretty powerful because Zergs normally just send units. They don't mix in detectors with their counterattacks. And here comes a DT. Crossy blocking the ramp. This is cute. But Boa retreated his entire army. And there's a nice setup. Still need a few more drones. We can see Crossy, after getting set up on this many bases, never actually made more drones, just transferred over. And there we have +3 for the Hydras and Lurkers already complete. Lings are about to have +2 weapons, and +1 carapace was actually just going to remain for a while. The +2 was started a little bit late. We have some spotting overlords, but not a ton of map vision from Crossy. You can see you can put them on this map several places. And here we go, we have Boa coming in again. 3 Lurkers, greet him. We have 1 Reaver, 2 support, but this army is looking pretty small. Crossy can execute a flank here to minimize the splash from the High Templars and Reavers. I think it would expose Boa's lack of army size. You can see he's leaving units behind at all his outlying bases just to protect them from counterattacks. Because even if you have cannons, the threat of swarm is always there. And look, here we have the first storm drop. Going down in drones. And I think this is a correct way to play this map. It's much easier to harass on this map than it is to attack. Unfortunately, the shuttle goes down, so we had some harass here as well. And again, just checking in on this base. Wants to keep Crossy's limited on economy and bases. Doesn't want to let Zerg get out of control. Able to produce a ton, and he's taking small engagements instead of hitting with his big attack. Looks like we have a vulnerable spot in the defense from Crossy. Nothing on this high ground, only 1 Lurker. Swarm comes in, but this is a ton of Zealots. Now the Swarm is actually going to work against the Hydras that are shooting the Zealots. Lurkers on burrowing, but this is a very small number of Lurkers, and Boa just keeps moving in. You have a ton of Storms on the rally. Units coming in from the rally, getting stormed immediately. You don't have any Lurkers left under Storm, only 1 here slightly outside, but the Lurkers and Lings have killed most of the Zealots. Now the observers are going down. We have High Templars, but mostly High Templar armies are extremely frail. This is a glass cannon army from Boa. I think the damage has been done, and it should retreat before Crossy's production comes in. We killed 1 macro hatch, and it looks like Boa stayed a little bit too long here. Crossy taking another main in the meantime. Boa's army gets cleaned up once again. We have another shuttle moving out now. This is 1 Reaver and 2 High Templars. Tons of economic harassment potential here. We have how many robos currently? It looks like we only have the 2 robos. And here comes the shuttle. It's going to be huge. Let's just watch. Crossy doesn't have vision. He needs more vision out on the map. And here comes Reaver with 2 High Templars storming. And all the drones in the middle line go down. We're still alive. Nice scarab there on the units coming out of the Nidus. Try to kill that, but do we still have energy on these High Templars? Looks like they want to attack this 4th base from Crossy, and there's nothing here. Only Sunkens, but Sunkens don't stop the shuttle. And we had a big storm there. More drones going down. We still have 1 High Templar in the shuttle, but looks like it doesn't have energy. We have another main being set up from Crossy. Looks like we don't have the 2 Niduses set up here quite yet. And we're sending more drones to mine from this base. And there's another storm drop at the 4th base from Crossy. Looks like 4 or 5 drones go down. And you can see every time he has to make drones, it's not units. And the supply difference is showing again. Even after Boa throws away his army, he's still maintaining that supply lead. This is a very sneaky base from Crossy. If he can set up both mains, it'll be very difficult for Boa to win this game. It'll make the naturals hard to take because there's Nidus so nearby. And then that would leave only 2 men or onlys for Boa. But in the current stage of the game, Boa has a massive army advantage, and he has opportunities to attack. The lurker number is not that great. There's only 2 lurkers here. There's a defiler, but there's no supporting units. It's about 2 control groups of Lings only. He has to utilize the Nidus, unburrow all his units to come to this location. It's still important, even though there's no mining here. This is still 3 hatcheries. This is a ton of production. It's like only defilers coming out. They don't have plague critically, and this position has been broken. Nidus aren't being used. Everything has to go. Everything has to come here to support. Another macro hatchery goes down. Looks like this one lurker is helping out a ton, and here comes all of Frosty's units. And again, Boa loses everything. Come the reinforcements, and let's look at the upgrade. 3-1-1 versus 3-2. The Lings have 2, and he's getting weapons now. And a nice shield upgrade for Boa, so he's maintaining that upgrade advantage. He's trying to deny this base. Again, where are the lurkers? Where are the lurkers? 3 High Templars coming in. No, this is a disaster. Looks like these were rallying here, or they were sent as reinforcements. And this is hilarious. 1 lurker holding back the entire army. Cannons do manage to finish. You'll see units pop out of this Nidus, and here we go. Lurkers being set up on the high ground. We need a swarm, so these dragoons will be made useless and nullifies the entire attack. Oh, nice plague there. Nice catch up. Crossy needs to keep having plays like that. The plague ignores all the armor upgrades. You can see every armor upgrade here completely negated. Sends everything to 2 health. And here comes Reaver. Now Reaver has more range than all of the Zerg units. You see targeted that lurker there, and the Lings just blocked on the ramp, so that was pretty cute. And here comes Boa moving in. This all is just melting instantly, but we need more units to come out of this Nidus, and here we go. Boa moving in. There's a swarm. Still have the 2 Reavers alive. They have been plagued, so they're really low on health, but there's a ton of units, and we don't have anything at the rally. Here come more lurkers burrowing, trying to come in to support. Nidus very exposed here. Lurkers burrow. Huge storm on the lurkers, and all the lurkers for Crossy go down. That was a very panicked move. He was just out of position for a second. Now without the Nidus, this base is dead. Boa setting up another base. We still have 3 bases mining for Boa. And with the potential to keep harassing Crossy, it's looking grim. Crossy is basically only on 2 bases. Looks like we got Scared go off, but I don't know. Oh, what? There's a Reaver randomly in the middle of the map. Looks like it was left there. Why? Just abandoned by Boa. Now it's getting pretty scary. Boa is setting up more bases. He's getting set up. He does have enough splash to deal with all the Zerg units. 2 Reavers behind this. He's bringing in more Zalts to support. Does have to be careful not to get caught without anything to deal with the swarm, but with 2 lurkers behind all these cannons, it's going to be impossible for Crossy to keep moving forward. And here comes some Zalts to support. We have the shuttle going in again, and all of Crossy's bases are extremely exposed. He did spread out his bases in such a fashion that it's hard to defend them all. Here comes the High Templar. This High Templar has 2 storms, the other one has 2 as well. And Crossy GG's unable to kill or break this position from Boa, and losing more drones in the process. He's only down to a 1 base. This one's almost mined out, basically. And there's the GG. These High Templars. This High Templar was going to use a storm, but the game ended just before then. We get this cute animation here, and the score is currently 2-0 USA. Let's update the score. There we go, 2-0 USA. Let's go to the next match. It's gonna be let's go back to It's gonna be Tom Brown against Dragon. Tom Brown, I think, is also a magician. Not entirely sure who he is, but new player in USA, brought in just to field weekly. And then Dragon, of course, is Team Canada's captain, well-known player from Canada. Very strong player, does well in all the events. And let's go into that match. It's going to be on Eclipse. In the top right spot, we have BSL 10 Brown, representing Team USA as a color blue. Let's do it like this. And in the bottom right, we have the red Protoss, Dragon Naz, representing Team Canada. Can Canada get a point on the board? This is probably the most favorable matchup. Dragon's best matchup is PvZ, and because he also plays Zerg, I know he's very familiar with the strategies Zerg can pull off. The map is Eclipse, 2-player map. One of the interesting features about 2-player maps is the rush distance. It's normal, or I should say it's longer than 2/3 of the positions on 4-player maps, but this is naturally cross. As a result, all 2-player maps, you can see they're not actually full size. You can see in the mini-map there's parts missing. They're not 128, 128. They're actually 112, 128, so that's how they make it so that the rush distances, while a little bit longer, aren't ridiculously longer. Again, a few seconds make a huge difference in the early game. And we have Dragon going for the gateway expand. And Tom Brown going for the overpull. Probe is gonna pass the Overlord here, I think. Maybe they just avoid each other. Nope, they see each other. In here, Tom Brown should know, based on the scouting timing, that this is your Forge Scout after or Gateway Scout. Here comes Drag. Now this is a play. You see, most Protoss players would just block the natural in this position. They see that drone coming out, they just assume, okay, it's an overpull, let me go block that natural. But if this were a 4-pull, the Lings would be coming out and heading, about to head out to the Protoss base. So if Protoss were to deny the natural because they saw a drone, then they would only see the Lings when they were roughly at the ramp. And those few seconds can be huge with the Forge Expand, because Forge Expand would then only start the cannons. Assuming it was overpull, it would make that Nexus first. So safe play by Dragon just to continue into the main, and it looks like we have a pretty fast gas from Tom Brown. And we have 4 Lings being made, and even more Lings being added, so this is already a little bit strange. And Dragon is gonna see this. He's gonna see 6 Lings. Now he wants to stay around long enough to see how many Lings exactly are made. Is it only 6? Looks like he sees 2 more, so that's 8. And you can see this another set of Lings pop out. He's playing extremely safe. You can see he's delayed his Nexus, keeps making Zealots, even the Forge before the Nexus. And there's the link speed from Tom Brown. Zealots or Probe has gone down, so now Dragon is going to be in the dark completely. From this point on, Zerg can do anything. They could keep making Lings, they could just drone up, they could go tech, but we see its link speed. Drag smartly sends out another probe. It's going to top left, trying to avoid getting scouted by anything else out on the map. And we have those 12 Lings just positioned here. One key bit of information is the Drag can't just go scouting for that third base, but because this map is how it is, Zerg has a couple options for a third base. He has this base over here and then the one at bottom right. He's gonna at least confirm there's no third base here, and he's gonna see if he can keep this alive long enough to link speed finish. Here come all the links from Tom Brown. Links don't have speed quite yet, it's almost done. He's gotta, if I were him, I would actually hide the link speed, but he shows the link speed there. Probe goes down, and Dragon, who's out on the map,
is going to retreat. Now, this is a mistake from Tom Brown, simply because this Overlord saw the Zealots move out. And now if he were to stop chasing that probe, before he revealed he had link speed, Dragon wouldn't have retreated. But once confirming link speed, Zealots traded way worse against links with speed, so Drag retreats, plays it safe. And looks like I missed this. Behind this, it's not any more tech, or I should say it's not any more hatcheries, it's not lair tech, it's just 2 hatch Hydra. Trying getting second cannon, transferring his probes, core almost complete. Hello, Caster Muse. Caster Muse, I heard your idea about having a Korean B team play off against one of the participating nations in Nation Wars, and it's a good idea. Oh, hi TT1. Didn't even see you, that's why. Where's Rude Girl? Hola, Rude Girl. Habla, man. Oh, it's like Dragon moves out, sees the links. This is a ton of Zealots. He went 1 gate, but because Tom Brown only made links, he never actually moved out. He's blocking the probe. The score, don't you see the marker in the bottom left? 2-0 USA. Dragon actually keeps moving out. This is extremely bold. He knows Tom Brown, or he suspects he's only on 2 hatcheries, but this is still somewhat of a risk. Now, he does confirm it's Hydras, so he won't prepare anti-air in his main for Mutas. He immediately cancels that Ser. And the Zealots are trading off, killing all the links, but they're gonna die to these Hydras. And the last of the Zealots from Dragon go down. He's gonna have to add lava cannons. Looks like he's already at 2, but he's adding more. And I like that they're far back like this. It's gonna be hard for the Hydras to move forward and kill these, so he's gonna have to waste his time on the gateways. And because this is 2 hatch Hydra, not 3, it's very, very all in. It's very all in. You can't get more all in than this. Forge goes down, so Dragon can't add any more cannons, but you can see he cut probes. And he's blocking with 3 Zealots, getting in the way of Hydras and buying him enough time for his cannons to finish. Gateway's gonna go down as well. The Forge being added from Dragon. He's not in any rush to tech up. Bow against Crossy and KMD. Oh no, actually Whip against Striker. And USA won both matches. KMD Whip against Striker was 2-hatch Lurker against Mech. Ended very quickly on Optimizer. And then Boa against Crossy was a very long game, about 30 minutes on Polyploid. Dragon adding gateways now. Another cannon actually, so he's up to 4, 8, 9 cannons, and he still has enough Zealots to body block a little bit. More Hydras being made, but 3rd hatch only added now. This is looking very bleak for Tom Brown. Dragon is playing this safe. He's not cutting corners. You can see he's still ready for the attack. He's leaving probes. Well, Crossy, rematch of Nazzle 3, which Crossy won. But here comes the attack from Tom Brown. He's moving in, but there's enough cannons here. About the same number of cannons as Hydras, and with the probe and Zealot support, Hydras forced back. And GG, very quick game. Dragon wins, so that'll be 0.1 for Canada. So that's 2-1 USA. Now we're gonna go into the 2v2. Caster Muse, I have a surprise for you. Let's look at the let's look at the board. Striker, Boa, Tom Brown, Jaeyoon are all Korean. They're all Korean Americans. And then Whip, Cross, Aegyo, and KMD are all Korean Canadian. We're gonna go to 2v2 on Python.
for your Korean B team, who would participate? Just to get an idea of roughly what kind of level we'd be working with. We're gonna go into 2v2. Let's go. Alright, in top, we have Red Duck substituting for Dragon as the Red Protoss. Now I know Red Duck, also KMD, plays Protoss as well. And his partner is going to be Aegyo as the Red Zerg, aka Drone Dance. So this is a full Korean Canadian team. Korean. You can see they're going to chat in Korean. Then in the bottom we have the Blue Zerg Striker and his ally, the Blue Protoss Raz. Let's fix the score. It's actually 2-1 now. Forgot to mention, if it ends at 3-3, if you see the matchups, it's only 6. If it ends at 3-3, there will be an ace match. Looks like Striker's gonna go for that 9 pull. Aegyo makes an Overlord. Someone translate the chat. Gateway from Raz and also from Red Duck. Red Duck not scouting, or actually already scouted. Pylon Scout versus Gateway Scout. There's in the gas room. Striker's going 9 full speed. This is overpulls from Aegyo. 9 pull lair, not very common in ZP versus ZP, especially on Python. Staying on 1 hatchery against ZP is extremely risky. It gives up map control entirely, and then your Protoss ally can't reliably help you because even though they have 2 gateways, Zealots are extremely slow and they can get picked off by the other Zerg player if they go for a 2-hatch play. And we have both Protosses going for the double gateway. Striker getting out his first 6 slings. And let's see if he pulls off gas. Looks like, yep, he's gonna pull off gas. Pulls off 1 only, and actually goes lair. This is gonna be risky. And Aegyo doesn't go lair, pulls off gas. So this is already conceding from Team USA any semblance of map control. Aegyo is also gonna have the much faster second hatch. Of course, when you go lair, that's about half as much cost as the second hatchery. There's a probe finally going down, and here comes Aegyo across the map, and Red Duck should be heading out pretty soon. Aegyo's speed is still gonna be faster than Striker's, even though he went for overpool, just because Striker went for lair first. And here comes Red Duck. And now this is what I'm talking about. Red Duck can be out on the map. It's gonna be risky for Raz to do so. And there's a second hatcher from Aegyo, still only making lings. Both Protosses only making solids. We have the gas from Raz, and this is also risky because if one player techs like Striker is doing, the other player should invest more into ground units, more into tier 1 units. Both players teching leaves them very exposed in the early game. And here we have the first 3 results from Red Duck. 4th and 5th rallied, and we have Aegyo's lings being hidden. This Overlord does spot all of Raz's army movements, and here we go. We have 3 results. We have 1 sunken and a spire positioned in such a way that it's hard for the units to get a ton of surface area here. Now, Raz is finally moving out here, and you can see the 3 zealots just ignoring altogether the damage from the 1 sunken, targeting that spire instantly, and the buildings meanwhile going to the middle line, starting harassing the drones. More links being produced by Striker, but here comes the 4th and 5th zealots from Red Duck, and now it's only drones with 1 sunken against a ton of lings and zealots. This is what I'm talking about. This is the problem with
one hatch lair against ZP. Extremely hard to defend. We have the counter from Raz. And then we have some of Aegil's Lings staying in his base now with one sunken. Lings are about to pop out and should be fine targeting the Lings, not the sunken. Wise play simply because the Lings have more DPS. They die faster, so it's better to kill them off. But you can see Aegil just retreating with the rest of his Lings. Striker in the meantime does manage to defend, but he has 0 drones and only can make 1 set more. Striker actually investing into more Lings, realizes he's not going to be able to come back in this game, just wants to provide as much support as he can. Overlord's going down as well, but basically there's no way for Team USA to come back in this game. So Striker changes mind, pivots, makes 1 more drone. And this is going to end the game for Striker here. What is Raz's plan from this position? Stargate. 2v1 is possible, or 1v2 I should say is possible, but only when the Zerg player is weakened enough and the other Protoss is behind somewhat. But it's just the Protosses are on equal footing and Aegil's position is not that grim. And Striker's eliminated, so his last 3 Lings not providing any value now, leaves the game. His Overlord's also provided some vision, but this 2v2 is basically over. At the end of the cast, we're just gonna do the results of week 5. I have that. I'm pretty sure it's ready. And then I'll upload it so you can see the results of week 5 and the current standings. Because Peru and Norway have dropped out, all those matches are gonna be set up so that the teams get the full complement of points. Going into Corsair because the threat of mutas is always there. Aegil spots the Corsair and it's not going to make mutas at all, getting Hydra then. And Hydra speed. Raz is a fighter though, doesn't want to just give up the game. This strategy they did basically was not optimal. The only way I would see them defending is if Raz were to go 3-gate Zealot. If he goes 3-gate Zealots, then he can be out on the map and support Striker when they go to his base. But otherwise, 2-gate Zealot with a gas is just too slow and too few units to do anything. No Overlord to support Red Duck is about the only thing here. And looks like they're gonna go in. There's only 1 cannon. Begins with range. Alright, come on, get in there, get in there. You could probably hold on longer with BTs, but there's an Overlord here. This cannon's at his ramp. And that's all she wrote, I think, here for Raz Zealots. Waiting for speed. I'll just update the scoreboard here. The idea Caster Muse had was to have a Korean team of amateurs play against the best performing nation in Nation Wars. And it's a pretty good idea. It would be cast, I think, in Spanish, English, and Korean. There's a GG from Raz finally. And that'll be 2-2 USA against Canada. Hola, Caster Muse, I was saying we like your idea for the event. gonna go into set 5. Raz against KMD, also Red Duck. Caster Muse, do you know KMD is Bo White's brother? In the top right spawn, as the teal Protoss, we have Raz representing Team USA. And in the bottom right, we have Red Duck as the blue Terran representing Team Canada. Map is Fighting Spirit, and it's 2-2. We have potential of getting a 3-3 tie, which will lead to an ace. These spawns are the best spawns for Terran on Fighting Spirit for a couple of reasons. Adjacent spawns always benefit the Terran player. Having to attack cross map makes it much harder. Protoss, when they're cross map, they have the option of either main. Usually get both, and because the third base from Red Duck is towards, or I should say away from Raz, it makes it easier for him to take it. If they were adjacent spawns but horizontally here, say Raz was in bottom left, the third base for KMD, Red Duck would be much harder to take. You have Gateway at the net, and then a cross scout, just checking the middle. Let's see where this probe heads to. It's gonna go to their correct base. We have Red Duck scouting, but we already have the SimCity in position. He's setting it up. He's gonna make a bunker, or I mean a depot here with the gas and the barracks. Will provide the Marines maneuverability between those buildings. And he's gonna need it. Forward gateway like this is extremely aggressive. Not as aggressive as proxied in the middle. There's a refiner going down, and the barracks is about to be complete. Some harass here just to slow down the gateway. In effect, slowing down the gateway, the barracks also slows down the factory, which is what you really want to do. You want to slow down Terran's tech. There's a first Zealots on the way. It's going to be Zealot Core Zealot or Zealot Zealot Core Zealot. That's going to be the key feature here. And looks like he's just going to not stop produce Zealots. SCV's going around, looping around. 10 HP SCV here. There's a depot going down, so now we have the SimCity in place to deal with the Zealots. Of course, he doesn't know, but it's just a good safety measure for Terran to do this in every game, basically no matter what. I'm curious on the factory position if he makes it too far from the SimCity. Nope, looks like he makes it right nearby. Just allow the Marines to defend it. Here comes the probe and the Zealot. Oh, Marine doesn't target there to snipe out that probe, and you really want to kill this probe. This probe makes it so that you can two-shot Marines with one Zealot shot, with 2 Zealot shots and a probe. Laser, and here we go again with the micro. A little bit miscontrol there, but the Zealots can't actually pass this wall. They have to go around like this. Important here that the factory hasn't been slowed down at all. Now, because he went Zealot, Zealot, and then the core, look how many Zealots are being made. This core is going to be delayed. Okay, the factory finally gets slowed down. The SCV, how it goes is basically random, so the Zealots can either target it or they can't. Looks like 2 SCVs have gone down, so this factory is being slowed down. Now another Marine goes down, getting booked out there with the SimCity. I mean, the units in this game aren't the smartest. It basically comes down to how you control them. Do we have an add-on immediately? Looks like we're not. But no vultures being made, and now with 2 Zealots, it's going to be hard to utilize this in SimCity even. The Zealot's getting on both sides of the wall. Vulture finally started. Looks like the Zealot goes down. 1 Zealot is much easier to defend. You can see the Marine just will bounce back. Now, 1 Marine doesn't have enough DPS to deflect this entirely. You just ignore the Marine fire and start targeting SCVs. But with the Vulture almost out, see the Zealot arriving here, but not going to be able to do much. Don't have any gas mining, so you can see he can't actually make the add-on, and he hasn't noticed that yet, which is important. Now his subsequent attack is going to be delayed. And we're getting that bunker at the natural just in time to defend from this Dragoon. And we have a robo from Raz, so interesting follow-up here. There's the expansion from Red Duck and also from Raz. It's like even with the SCV losses, we don't have the worker lead yet. And let's look at the hotkeys. Looks like we have 1 on Dragoon, 4 on Nexus, 5 on Gateway, Robo on 6. There's the add-on from KMD. SCV Scout gets in, sees the Robo timing, sees the Nexus movement, so he knows he's gonna have to prepare potentially for Reaver. Of course, Raz could transition into Observer from this. You can even fake him out and just go Observer into another expansion. If KMD, for example, expects Reaver and predicts it, and then all of a sudden doesn't see anything, instead later scouts at faster base, but prepares for Reaver with turrets blindly, then he'll end up slightly behind. The bunker with 2 Marines will be enough so Dragoons can reliably run by. SCVs are extremely strong, and losing your early Dragoons is pretty painful as Protoss. You have another unit out on the map that's trying to counter, but you'd see Raz is well aware of this. He knows Vulture was main, so walking this ramp, playing safe, not going out with 3 Dragoons. And looks like he wasn't gonna do this. This is just planting mines. It's very similar to how Bunker Expand used to be played. When it became meta, it would catch Protoss players off guard. This tank will force the Dragoons back. The Dragoons would just head back to the base and eat the mines, and oh crap. So we gotta die, but 2 Dragoons isn't enough. You want 3 Dragoons minimum to try to 3-shot the tanks. 2 will 4-shot and 4 would 2-shot. So 3 Dragoons, you can reliably snipe that tank if you get a good volley off every time. With 4, you can 2-shot it, so Terran has to be extremely risky. Careful, because moving forward is extremely risky. And here the Dragoons are retreating. Let's see what path he takes. And he takes this path. This is a little bit cute. He knows there are mines out on the map. This 1 Dragoon ate that mine. This is the one that was at the ramp, so he's gonna go a different path. And the Reaver's out. Vulture's at the 3rd, trying to deny it. Leaving the Vulture here to kill the probe, and then leaving the mine at the 3rd to later deny it in case it doesn't come with an Observer. And he's setting up for Reavers. This is blindly setting up for Reavers, by the way. You wouldn't position mines behind the mineral line like this. But he did scout the fast Robo timing. He confirmed it was Robo before Nexus. Drops off the Dragoon first and just manages to pick up that Reaver barely before the Scarab goes, the mine goes off. No Scarabs have been shot, and with the Dragoon weekend like this and Goliath's out, he's just gonna have to retreat. You see the work count in Red Duck's favor. And there's a Vulture going on, but there's still this mine in place. And this is basically all the scouting information Red Duck needs. He's getting that second add-on, which is key. If you deny the Protoss 3rd base long enough, you can bank on them having more units than you'd expect. So getting that second add-on to produce tanks, which would allow you to take that 3rd base, is pretty important. Doesn't have an academy to snipe observers. It's one of the things he did with his build. He did get his army and second factory extremely fast. But to do that, you have to cut out something, and he cut out the academy. So Raz is able to get full scouting information. And here comes the shuttle again. The Goliaths were slightly out of position, so the shuttle's actually going to get in. Drops up to Dragoon first to take up all the fire, and now here's the first Scarab. Only gets 1 SCV. These aren't probes. Second Scarab looks like it's going to dud. The Dragoon goes down. The shuttle goes down. We still have 2 Goliaths left. Okay, we have another Scarab get an SCV, and another Scarab targets the depot. So all in all, I think that was very good defending by KMD. Dragoon ate the mine, and now we have the third Nexus being planted. Third commands are already floating over, and we're adding factories. That's Terran. You see, vultures are being mixed in. It makes it easier to get these factories up faster, and because we got 2 add-ons, we have a healthy tank count. 6 tanks, but Raz is setting up to deny this third base. You see he's moving out with the ton Dragoons. Unfortunately, he lost that Shoto. If he still had that Shoto, even if it was Zalt and not Reavers, it would make taking this third base from Terran a lot harder. Looks like the command turn took a weird path to come over here. Tanks are on sieging. He wants to get over here to protect this base, but this is a ton of Dragoons, and on the high ground, it's going to be hard for tanks to effectively push up. Look how far back he has to siege, so he's going to have to calmly head over to this base. This tank is very exposed. You can see you can move forward, target that down immediately. The lives also at the ramp. We have a scan going off. Kills the observer. It's going to make it better for him to take this base. Protoss doesn't have all the information now, and now he stayed a little bit too long in range of these tanks. 5 Dragoons go down there. We still have 5 Dragoons and on the high ground, but we have the same number of tanks. Raz retreats. No, looks like he's gonna get one exposed tank. He has to be careful. He's moving too far forward. There's no retreat possible here. Okay, looks like there is. Almost 3 Dragoons go down. He did manage to delay it slightly, but he lost a ton of Dragoons in the process. That was 12 Dragoons. He's down to 3. 9 Dragoons for what was 3 tanks, 2 lives, and a little bit of delay on the command center landing. Is this +1? No, this is... Okay, so this is already +2. This is 2-1. Protoss' tech is very behind. Stargate only going down now. Third, finally being saturated. We have Red Duck trying to harass, and good blocking. You have pylon wall and then Dragoons at the ramp. This is effectively how you want to do it. You want to pylon wall the exterior ramp and then keep units in the interior. Simply because Terran has the potential for drop, and if you get this base dropped and all of a sudden you have 2 pylon walls, Dragoons can't get in. And we have the nice wall from KMD at his third base, gonna make it very hard for Protoss to attack without any shuttle play. Utilizing the barracks as well, and just adding depots here to make it hard for Protoss to move in, or alternatively out after a recall. And we're already up to 8 factories, and 2-1 is about halfway done. And even though it's 12-20, normally Terran would be near max here. Because of the way the game opened, you can see his position is actually extremely favorable. Raz invested a lot into the early game harassment. Got them. Oh, that's a mine, that's a mine, that's a mine, that's a mine. Oh, okay, it looks like there's a lot. He runs away. And the probes finish off the last vulture. Look at the economy from Red Duck. It's fully saturated, 3 bases. Making an eBay at 13 minutes. So his build hasn't been slowed down that much. He's not having to make turrets at all. He does get supply blocked here, which hurts. And let's look at where the observers are for Raz. How much information does he actually have? He has none in the main. Observer at the rally gets killed by the +1 Marines, and we have 1 observer randomly out in the middle of the map. Turret's Arbiter about halfway done, but it's not gonna be in time. Red Duck is about ready to push out. 2-1 almost done, and even though he's at 120 supply now, all he needs is depot and he'll shoot up in supply. Vultures build extremely quickly and they provide 2 supply. You have a forge being added to complete the wall. And it's going to be 0-0 Protoss without any kind of area of effect spells against Protoss. Against a Terran that's 2-1 ready to move out. The tank count is significant. We're at 12 tanks. 2 more come out, 3 more on the way soon. 6 factories producing vultures and Goliaths. This is a very scary moment for Raz. The scans are being used. Spotting the Protoss army. Terran manages to get across his bridge without having to siege. And again, this is adjacent spawn. Look at the push path from Terran. It's basically a step and a half away from his own bridge. Well +1 for the forwards. Our first Arbiter is out. It's only going to have 50 energy, so it's going to be quite a while before Stasis is ready to use. We have 3-2. Actually, this looks like a misclick. We have ship weapons being researched. And here comes Raz. First Arbiter is out, but the vessel will counter the cloaking. And we have an EMP instantly, and this EMP was huge. It gets the Arbiter, so this 100 energy he's going to wait for no longer possible. And most of the army got EMP'd as well. Force one siege up. Every siege up Protoss forces gives him more time, but he's already here, and it looks like we're going to come in. And this is not a great angle to come in from. The units were not coming in all at once. Some of the Zealots were staggered behind, and now without any Zealots up, the only Dragoons, you can see how quickly the Protoss army will fall. Good targeting, but none of the tanks are targeting each other or the Zealots on top of them. All the tanks are focus firing on the Dragoons, and Raz is forced to retreat. And again, look at the position on the map. Normally at this point in the game, Protoss would either have 4 or 5 bases, and the Arbiters would be ready or using stasis. Here we go again. Protoss moving in. He's trying to catch Terran on siege. Terran not even have to siege all his tanks. Again, if the Zealots go down, the Dragoons become extremely exposed, and the Arbiter not even going to be able to utilize the spell. Second Arbiter on the way, but not going to be in time yet again. And we have an SCV being sent to bottom left, trying to take a base. Observer chases that, but look at this position Terran already has on the map, and Raz types GG. Team Canada gets another point. That'll be 3-2 in favor of Canada, and we're gonna go into the next match. It's gonna be Jaeyun against Aegyo. This should be a very close match. Jaeyun, of course, doesn't really like ZVZ. He always picks Protoss. I wouldn't even say it's an off-race sim anymore, considering how much he practices it. And Aegyo, of course, very strong player. It's going to be on Neil Sufid. In the top right, we have the barcode Protoss in color teal, but we all know it's Jaeyun representing Team USA. Look at that. Look at the Zealot perfectly in the middle of the Nexus. And in the bottom right, we have Aegyo as the red Zerg. I want to test something out. So you know how F keys can be utilized? Oh, look at this. Can utilize F keys in replays. So this is F2 where you start, then I F keyed Aegyo's hatchery, and then F4 randomly here. So this is pretty cute. You have the random hallucinated cockaroo, and the map is Neil Sufid. That's one of the ways you can tell this map is Neil Sufid. Look at this pylon position. This is very important for Protoss to take note. But this pylon positioning maximizes the room your cannons will have. You can make the forge here, gateway here, you have a 3-gap wall, and then you can make an entire row of cannons and another one. So this is a very important pylon positioning on Sylphid. And Aegyo's gonna go for that overpull. Standard stuff. Jaeyun not scouting, and this could either be 11 Nexus or Forge. Looks like it's gonna be Forge. When you do this, you are exposing yourself to early pulls, but only basically 5 and 4 pulls, sometimes 6 pulls as well. But you do get your Nexus and Cannon up faster when you delay your scout like this. So if you're gonna go for Forge, no matter what, you can use this build to get your Nexus a few seconds faster. You're not scouting immediately after Pylon, so that probe does make a difference. Here we have the Nexus for Jaeyun. And he's gonna get the first scout on Aegyo. He's gonna see a hatchery. So he's gonna know he's completely safe. And he's actually, yeah, okay, he made an extra probe there. He's gonna go 13 Nexus, 13 Cannon, and Aegyo. Let's see how many lings he makes. Now he sees Jaeyun's build. He goes 2 drones and then a ling. So this is also
Good economy from Zerg. James gonna see this, but it's not gonna change James' build at all. He already has a cannon down. Drone going to the third. Let's look at the gas timing from Agio. Does he make the third hatch before or after the gas? And here's the gateway from James. A little bit late, but only a couple seconds. There's the third hatchery about to be set up. Looks like he's going to take the farther third and go for the gas. Basically after the third hatch, but because the drone had to walk a little bit longer, it's roughly at the same time. Game keeping this drone alive. You can see how much APM it requires. Early game, you're basically not doing anything else. Looks like we have James hotkeys. Let's look at them. 6 Nexus and 4 Forge, 5 Gateway, 1 Probe. A cute hockey setup from Jayun. Oh, another set of wings. Now this is if you don't want to deal with this probe that much longer, you make that extra set of wings. Against 4 lings, it's hard to keep that probe alive, and then he dies just before he gets to get any scouting information, basically. And here's the hydrogen from Agio. Okay, so that's why you make the extra set of wings. You can kill that probe up. Going with the Cybernex core, so his Nexus provided the supply of the second pylon. Normally would you get the core faster like this, but you do get a little bit. You're trading off a little bit of economy. Here's another probe going out on the map, and now James gonna have several tells that this is 3 hatch Hydra. Even though the probe died, you do have a couple key things to note. First is this Overlord position. None of the Overlords going into the main can indicate 3 hatch Hydra. Now that alone is not enough information. The second tell is the number or the timing of link speed. So link speed normally finishes if they go lair roughly about 1 minute and 20 seconds after the lair starts. Lair normally starts around 340, 330. So around basically now link speed would finish. So Jane keeps his probe near the links, doesn't see link speed, and sees no Overlord in his main. He should be extremely suspicious of Hydras. Still making Lings because you don't want to make Hydras when they don't have upgrades. And of course Lings come out 2 at a time, so they deal with Zealots much better. Until they have +1, of course. And we have 2 Zealots and we have 8 Lings. 8 Lings are enough to deal with this. But Jaehoon wants to get the scout. He basically doesn't need to do any damage. He just wants to get the scout. And look at this position. It's very obnoxious. He's gonna trade here as long as possible. Pulls back that wicked zealot. And we went from 8 lings down to 3. So 5 have died. And critically, the zealot gets far enough to see the Hydra dent. So very good scout from Jaehoon. And we have 1 zealot, which will easily defeat 1 Hydra when the second Hydra comes up. This is actually still very... This isn't the easiest thing in the world to micro, especially at this point. You don't want to be microing. Zealots have way more damage potential. And looks like both Hydras are going to go down. Agio has to be careful here. Don't want to lose Hydras. And looks like we're doing that 973 thing, where you get enough drones in your nat and main. And then 3 out of your 3. And now we have a countering zealot from Jaehoon. When you counter with your zealots, you are exposing yourself to 3 hatch Hydra bust, because you don't only want to rely on cannons. The zealots provide extra beef. They are much tankier than cannons, and it looks like Jaehoon is not going to do that. He wants to harass with these zealots. You can see Agio's dealing with this, but he's having trouble. His attention is split. He really wants to attack, but now he has to come back to deal with this annoying zealot. We have a Corsair also harassing. How many kills we have? No kills quite yet, but 1 zealot, 1 Corsair is more than enough to annoy the hell out of Zerg. Zerg doesn't want to be dealing with any of this. They want to just pressure the front. Gateway's being added from Jaehoon. He only had to make 4 cannons. He is scouting that this isn't all in from Agio. He only made about a control group of Hydras, and he's not even really attacking with them. When the wall is like this for Protoss, you can see this forge. It's very close to this cannon. It's very snug. If there's a horizontal wall, oh, we're losing another Hydra. No, it looks like okay. If there's a horizontal wall, the forge would be a little bit more extended to Jaehoon. Zealot wasn't on hold position. More zealots being annoying, but hey, he already has his 5 hatcheries going up. No lair quite yet. You want to delay your lair as long as possible, and there's the lair finally.
+1 also on the way. Hydras already have speed and range. And Jane's getting Storm. The key here is he only made the 4 cannons. With only 4 cannons, this is not a huge investment. You can see his gateways are going up pretty fast. There's 1DT out on the map because Zerg delays their lair so long they don't have overlord speed. And DTs can be extremely powerful. Sneaking 1DT past the defenses, getting into the main. Zergs never leave overlords in their main. And now it's like a muscle memory thing where you just pull your overlords to your net because you're gonna defend from Corsair. But Jayon only made the 1 Corsair in response to 3 on Hydra. Nonetheless, leaving the overlord in the main is annoying because of the Ser counters. All of a sudden, you lose an overlord for free. But Jayon doesn't want to do that. He doesn't send out that PT. He's making a shuttle. Now, Aegyo's moving forward, but Storm is already done. I doubt he will commit with this attack any longer. He's leaving the DT right next to the robotics. He just wants to drop, and because there was 1 Corsair early on the map, you can see Aegyo's vision is extremely limited. Doesn't see any of the common drop paths, which would be like this, or into the main would head on the right side of the map. Shuttle wasn't spotted, but Aegyo's preparing for this nonetheless. This is just experience, really. Oh! Looks like he was gonna pull away, but he still spots the shuttle. There's a 6 hatch from Aegyo. 3rd gas already done. He's gonna go for a muta transition. You see Lurker wasn't researched. One thing to know, Jayon delayed his +1 because he assumed his Forge was gonna get sniped. Have 8 gateways from Jayon. Aegyo's economy is pretty strong. I'm surprised he still doesn't have that 7th hatch 4th base, but he's saving up for mutas. Looks like not quite yet. Their gas still not being utilized. I'm actually a little bit surprised he doesn't have any further tech, just Hydras, no mutas or lurkers. He is spreading out the Hydras, so they're in pre-flank or pre-concave. Having a good concave minimizes the splash, and now these Hydras are going to be cut off. Jayon has to be careful here though, because if you get flanked, but it's like these Hydras are way out of position, and it's going to be about 9 Hydras just being given up here. Pretty painful loss, to be honest, from Aegyo. Those were the Hydras in position to cut off. Looks like we finally see something other Hydras, some skirts being set up to deal with the drop. And the shuttle again, just getting caught by Hydras in the middle of the map. Being taking a 3rd base. This shuttle just wants to do one thing. There's finally the 3rd gas. Enough Dragoons to deal with the Hydra straight up. 3 High Templar, all with 2 storms each. Aegyo wants the flank, but not the best coordinated flanks. And he's taking this as his 4th base instead of the much easier to defend normally. Looks like he's prioritizing the gas. And here comes the flank from Aegyo, attacking from 2 different angles, but the Hydras are getting clumped up here. And there are 3 storms. Or I should say 3 High Templars with 2 storms each. Good storms from Jayon, just clipping a ton of the Hydras. Hydras are coming in, trying to deny this 3rd base from Jayon, but trading off Hydras like this, you already lost 1 group, and now losing another, just to slow down the 3rd base. Even if he denies it, his Hydra's gonna be compromised. He's just gonna lose them for free basically again when he gets the 1 Dragoon. Now his standing army is going to be a lot weaker for it. He's basically about 8 Hydras short. It looks like another set of Hydras trying to do something. But look at Jane's army. It's pure Dragoon with 1-on-1 upgrades. He doesn't even get more Zealots. And this is a very scary army. Pure Hydra against this composition is not going to end the wall. +2, 4. The Hydra's almost done. That's a key damage spike, especially when Protoss has 1 armor. And here we go. This is a decent engagement, but once the High Templars catch up with the rest of the army, you can see that Hydras can engage effectively. Clumping up against the ranged Dragoons. And they're being forced to retreat. One of the reasons why this is so hard for Hydras to engage, because the Dragoons have more range. So the Hydras have to creep forward to attack the Dragoons, and as a result, they clump there. Zealots, on the other hand, the Zealots go forward towards the Hydras. The Hydras don't naturally clump to attack. And then if Protoss wants to storm the Hydras, they have to storm their own Zealots. But with pure Dragoon and High Templar like this, the Hydras are going to have a tough time engaging. You can see every time he moves just enough forward, Jaeyoon gets the storms ready. High Templars in the middle of the Dragoon mass, making it more effective for them to get their storms off. And here we go. This is going to be a big moment, but with one control group, Hydras go down to the storm. The flanking Hydras also get storm. And this is just so many Dragoons from Jaeyoon. Still producing only Dragoons. We don't even have Zealot speed. We don't even have Zealot speed. The 150 gas that it costs to get that, not worth it for Jaeyoon. Just wants to make Dragoons. And oh, Aegil is sad. Well played, he says, and with that we have a 3-3 score. So we're gonna go into an ace. Just guess who the aces are. No one ever gets it right. Someone guess. Who is ace? Who is ace? With a 3-3 tie, we're gonna have an ace. And now last week, Canada also had an ace. That was against Russia. Let's see who it is today. In the top right side, we have Boa representing Team USA as the teal Protoss. And in the bottom right, we have Dragon playing Zerg, of course, as the yellow Zerg. So Dragon putting himself in as the ace. Now Dragon played Boa in the Rogue Gallery, and if you saw those matches, it was a pretty dominating win for Boa. He won 3-0, and none of the sets were particularly close. But of course, you don't know who the other ace is, so you just send out the best available player. And this week it was Drag. The map is Optimizer. Second, we have Boa making that pylon at the natural, and he's sending the probe to mine. This is gonna be a gateway from Boa. Could also be Forge. Could be Forge after, or Forge Scout after, or scouting after making the Forge. Dragon. I'm pretty sure he's amped up to play this match after getting stomped by a player. Basically, you always want to get another match in. Oh, and it is gateway from Boa. So there goes the scouting probe, and Dragon's gonna get the Overlord into Boa's base. Do you see this base here? The way this map works, we have these mineral patches between the two bases. Only 250, and once it's mined out, you open up a path. And it provides you another avenue of attack and also access to this third base. All the third bases on this map have 3,000 gas. They're all in the middle of the map. Basically 12, 6, 3, and 9. And Dragon's gonna take another natural as his third. He's going for the 11 hatch. And he scouts the ball up first. This is gonna be pretty important. being annoying with that probe, just trying to throw drag off as much as possible. The drone actually went too far. And there's that first assault heading out onto the map. Dragon Lunalis is coming, of course. He's saving up Lara to make that first set of lings. 6 lings right off the bat. Let's look at the timing from the Zealot. Can he get to the middle line before the lings are out? Probe coming in for support. The probe with 2 Zealot shots and 2 probe shots. You can 2-shot the drones. It's basically Walmart +1. Oh, 1 drone already going down for Dragon. This is already painful. Plus the probe pull or drone pull, and now Ball's gonna want to maximize the effectiveness of his Zealots. Looks like he went Nexus before that second Zealot, so he's getting that Nexus up faster. And Dragon kills off the probe instantly, and now he's gonna deal with the Zealot. And Boa retreating with his second Zealot, realizing damage is done. Don't need to invest into it anymore. Got that 1 drone kill, forced to pull, and then forced Zerg to make 8 Zerglings. And behind this, he's setting up his wall, getting that forge. Already 2 Zealots out. And positioning the probe but underneath the gateway somewhat. I mean, it's on top of the gateway, but it's also in vision. In terms of vision, beneath the gateway. Hard to target this probe. We have, well, finally completing the wall and adding that Zealot. Cannon on the way, and he's gonna be very secure. But Dragon only made 8 lings, not a huge investment. 3rd hatch already up, and looks like he's either gonna go speed or lair. Because his economy isn't in such a bad position, yeah, looks like he's gonna go lair. His lair timing slightly behind the core timing of Boa, so he's gonna have a little bit of a struggle against the first few Corsairs. Again, Boa went for Nexus after just 1 Zealot, so his tech is going to be slightly faster. We have a similar already on the way. And then Drag's 3rd, getting set up with some drones. Poking out with some Zealots just to annoy. And then there's this target. This Overlord has to retreat, get out of dodge. In this position, Zerg has to do their best to hide the Overlords out on the map. Basically send them to bottom left so the Corsairs can't kill them off. There's +1 from Boa. Overlord retreating. Link speed almost done for Dragon. And Boa already mining out this. And because Ball's completely in the dark, you can see he's just playing it as safe as possible, making that 3rd cannon. He saw earlier these lings didn't have speed quite yet, which is a little bit suspicious, but it's only because Dragon went for Overlord or Lair first. So he's a little bit wary of the 3-hatch Hydra. Dragon not hiding his Overlords. You can see these Overlords are just heading to the net. Rally normally. There's a Corsair. Spire about halfway done. So this Corsair can get some damage done. Of course, the best thing to do is scout immediately, not kill this Overlord. If Dragon were going 3-hatch Hydra here, this would be very, 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 very suboptimal play. But just killing off that Overlord instantly. And here comes the Overlord from Drag, trying to get as far away from his natural as possible. Sees the Spire and now basically knows to retreat. If you see the Spire, this is a tip, if you see a Spire complete or about to complete, you can linger around long enough to kill 1 Overlord. But now that's if the Overlord's at the net. If you kill an Overlord in the main and Scourge are made at the net, then your retreat path is cut off. And behind us, we actually have 5 gates B-lot, so not checking up. Now this is curious, because earlier we saw this fast second gas from Boa, and you see he's already going up in gas, and he's not going to have Templars super fast. He's just massing up Zealots. And Dragon's going to set up for this. These 2 Sunkens are normal with this kind of build. Getting +1 carapace, so it looks like he wants to go into Mutas eventually, and here comes the move out from Boa. Wings going down. There's a Hydra then being set up to wall, but there's no gap. There's a gap here, and this is a pretty big choke. This is a very scary moment for Drag. Here come the first few Zealots. This is more Zealots than you'd expect. This is about 4 more Zealots, and 5 more are being rallied across the way. Zealots have +1, so they're going to kill off these Zerglings extremely quickly. Just drone drills a little bit late. Zealots already on top of the Sunkens. Link's coming from the back to deal with some of the Zealots. You see how quickly they're melting. Drones are helping. The drill was effective, but you saw drones pop out there, not Lings. 1 Sunken goes down, the second Sunken goes down, and now it's only Zealots against Lings and drones, and the Lings don't have any upgrades against this one Zealots. And the rally from Boa is quick, is effective. You see 5 Zealots coming in at a time. He already has 6 gateways. The Archives is done, but he's only making Zealots, not even adding High Templars, realizing this is a moment of weakness for Dragon. Wants to end the game here. Without any Sunkens, only Lings being made. There's no way for Drag to defend. He types GG, and that'll do it. That wraps up this match. Canada wins 4-3. And with that, we're gonna cover the week's results. Canada wins 4-3 over USA. And here's the week's results. So really quickly, we have Chile 2-4 against Poland. We saw it yesterday. Just saw USA beat Canada 4-3. Germany, this 6-0 is just because Peru is no longer participating. NEU actually beat Bolivia 5-1, so that is incorrect. And Sweden beat Norway because Norway pulled out as well. And in the left side, you see the current standings. Peru and Norway are just going to be at 0, forfeiting all their matches. Germany got the 6 points this week. Some of these teams have already had buys. Because there were 11 teams initially, every week there was a bye. So that's why it might seem like some teams are doing worse off than they're actually doing. For example, Canada, Chile, and Europe already had buys. So did Germany. At the top we have Sweden. Their only loss was against Poland, but they have some very dominant wins. So they have 24 points. Poland, USA, Canada, Bolivia, Russia, Chile, European nations, Germany. At the end of the seasons, you see the teams in green will qualify for the playoffs. Bottom 3 teams will be demoted to Division B. And that wraps up the week. Thanks for watching. Tune in tomorrow or Tuesday for the Division B cast. And thanks for watching, everyone. See ya.
Si te gustó este video, no olvides darle like. Y si aún eres nuevo y aún no te suscribes, te invitamos a hacerlo y a darle clic a la campanita. Recuerda que todos los días viernes estaremos subiendo nuevas guías y nuevo material, todo en relación con Starcraft remasterizado. Hasta la próxima, amigos.